the shown picture in this slide, this is the logo of our library, which is literally digital library. The word litera refer to the literacy, and the word link refer to the user who maintain to the access digital literacy by just click on the link. Our organization decided to book literally digital library because in order to fulfill requirements of user to have any access and all information that they need in digital format. So the vision of our library is to become a globally accessible digital library that empower lifelong learning, foster innovation, and preserve knowledge for future generation. And the mission for our library, which is to provide seamless and equitable access to digitize, achieve, and safeguard valuable historical, and to create an inclusive platform that facilitates in education, research, and personal growth through high quality. Our library also offer a wide range of material format, including digital manuscript, electronic journal, film, audio, and electronic books. We also offer a selection of historical document. The target audience for our library is children, senior citizens, students, and others. In order for users to make use of the services that our library has available, they are required to first become member for our library. That for children, RM4 ringgit, senior citizen RM5 ringgit, student RM8 ringgit, and other is 12 ringgit. Moving to the overview of digital library. Digital library is a collection of digital objects such as books, magazines, video recording, and other documents related to the electronic. The positive impact has come to the digital library since the COVID-19 pandemic. So, today users are used to finding information and using provided by digital library and anywhere. The comparison that can make through literally library with other digital library is about the access to modern technologies such as VR. VR is the one most technologies at the moment that often used of the public. So, in our digital library, we will be not charged for user who want to use that, because the user also become our member of literally digital library. So all the resources that has made available in our library, they can make use it. Continue to the relevant standard of literally digital library. So the first one is metadata standard. Metadata standard is standard that will ensure that resources are known, most organized, and also managed across form. So an example of metadata in use of literally digital library is MARC, stand for machine readable cataloging, and uplink core. Next, digital right management. DRM is standard to aim to ensure that every content, material, and also facilitate that have been provided by the library to user are controlled to copyright digital material. Lastly is accessibility standard. In digital library are rules and best practices that make sure all users, including people with disability, can use the library resources. Literally, digital library also make sure that people with disabilities can use by following the web content accessibility guidelines. This web making content that is easy for people with disability to view what other interface came out.
A digital library should cover many resources in order to fulfill the needs of its user. For literally digital library, to meet the needs and the demands of our audience, our content and collection have been carefully selected. Among them, general literature collections. In this collection, collections like poetry, drama, non-fiction novels, and fiction novels for readers of all age. Second, educational collections. In this collection, educational collections that address the current syllabus for primary and secondary school also will be provided. Here, this collection will be focused on comprehensive exercises, tests, and standard evaluation for school. Next, multimedia content. In this content, multimedia resources like audio, video, and even podcasts will be provided to the users. Same as in the general literature collections before, this selection will also have various topics covered, namely health and wellness, documentaries, cultural podcasts, and some other things. This is to ensure that users also will get entertainment and enjoy their time. Lastly, local and cultural heritage collections. Local and cultural heritage collections will focus on resources like scanned manuscripts, historical documents, images, videos, and even audio. However, in this section, there will be limited access to the collection as it is to protect the original works. For the structure and organization, literally digital library will use a hierarchical structure to organize our collections. Hierarchical structures are where the subfolders within folders. In this context, our collection will be organized according to its subject that will also follow by the sub-subject. Not only that, our collection will also be categorized by their format. The format includes ebooks, audio, videos, images, film, and others so that it will allow convenient resource type browsing and suit a wide range of user preference. Literally digital library uses the Dublin Core metadata element set, which is popular due to its adaptability and simplicity of use, and it is one of the main standards to be adopted so that it will guarantee that every resource is properly identified and available by including necessary components such as title, subject, description, date, format, and language. What is more, comprehensive bibliographic records will be maintained using mentioned readable cataloging standard MARC so that categorization for our resources. Moreover, Literally Digital Library will use a widely known classification system for subject categorization, like the Library of Congress subject headings and Dewey Decimal Classification. Last but not least, cross-referencing also will be optimized in the Literally Digital Library, and it will let users have a bigger view of our collections. Literally Digital Library optimizes digital rights management. DRM is a relevant standard that functions to manage and restrict access to copyright content to ensure safety and trust in handling digital content, as it is directly linked to the ownership rights, usage limitations, and license agreements. Next, artificial intelligence AI system open the opportunity to examine precisely the user preference by looking at their search history and behavior algorithm. By optimizing the use of AI, it will enhance Literally Digital Library since it will foster satisfaction and engagement from users. Lastly, the operation of Literally Digital Libraries surely needs to depend on its cloud-based infrastructure. This is because the cloud-based infrastructure ensures that library resources are available to users from anywhere and anytime in the world. For user experience, Literally Digital Library will prioritize having an appealing and interesting interface for the users. We will make sure that the interface is suitable and appropriate for all ages, considering that the public is the target audience of this library. This is important in the effort to enhance user experience because the first impression usually will affect the overall process. Other than that, Boolean operators are common in any digital library. Filters like resource type, publication date, author, and even language will allow users to narrow their scope of finding. Lastly, in an effort to maintain user experience, Literally Digital Library will actively seek out feedback from the users. Feedback will be simply collected through surveys that will be provided in the interface as well. Last one, based on the picture above, it is actually the Literally Digital Library interface. As can be seen, the interface of Literally Digital Library is filled with features that are relevant to the needs of the users. Starting with the content organization, Literally Digital Library provides a section where each type and subject will be listed accordingly. For example, the type of resources include ebooks, audio, video, and the subject as well. Labeling system and search functionality have been featured in this section as well. Also, navigation design is where a quick link is provided in this section. Using the same image as before, which is the Literally Digital Library interface, can be seen that Literally Digital Library provides a direct link to the newly added materials in the library. There, collection of new resources will be shown. Users simply need to click on it and it will directly bring them to the resources. Here, it is to some degree contribute to the ease of use because of it is simple.
To develop Literally Digital Library, we took approximately 2 years to analyze everything to ensure it was accordance with regulation and also what our user need. For the first and second month, we planning and requirement analysis, which is the top management meeting and planning what they want to do for our organization. For the month 3 to 4, we used to discuss technology selection use. After planning, our library began to talk about the technology. So as a result, the Literally Digital Library was used Greenstone platform in our library due to the scalability, usability, and affordability. For month 5 to 7, risk system design and development. Mentioned in introduction, our library has used metadata, duck link code, and marks. So our staff are creating a website interface and catalog all the resources to the system. For month 8 to 12, we have do data migration and digitization. The resources will be digitized using high resolution scanner. At the same time, the metadata from the current system will be transferred to the new platform. For the month 13 to 15, we have testing and deployment. So our library will focus more on search, functionality, load capacity, and user interface efficiency. So if the staff and user will be trained on how to use the new platform. If any issue from the testing process, we will make improvement to ensure the user have no problem by using our services. For the resources in digital library, we have 3 resources, which is human resource that provide carry out project planning and execution. And for the financial resources, any hardware such as storage, server, and scanner. So software maintenance is crucial in our organization because we need to carry out every month to ensure that our software is up to date. The last one is technological resources. The main resources in digital library is technology, including hardware, software, and network instruction. By selecting Greenstone, we believe that it can provide the library's specific needs using interface design. The challenges that we have found in building this digital library is budget constraint. This is implementing a digital library. In order to develop digital library with the facility that meets user needs, the library must ensure that all technology equipment is always in good condition. Therefore, the library also need to work together with the organisation to find enough funding. The next is technical expertise. When referring to the digital library, it's essential that our staff need to know how to use the new technology.
For innovation and creativity, the first one is AI-powered search and recommendation. The library will feature an AI-driven search engine capable of understanding natural language queries and providing context-to result. A recommendation engine will suggest relevant content based on user preference, reading history, and trending topics. The second one, multi-language support. Literally Digital Library will support multiple language, ensuring accessibility for diverse user group. Advanced translation tool will allow users to view content in their preferred language. Next, gamified learning. To foster user engagement, gamification elements like quiz, badges, and leaderboards will be integrated to encourage active learning and frequent use. And the last one is real-time collaboration space. Literally Digital Library will build in collaboration features such as virtual study rooms, annotation tools, and discussion forum. This will allow users to share knowledge and interact with peers. For future expansion, the first one is integration of virtual and augmented reality, incorporating VR and AR experiences to allow users to explore historical archive, museum, or even virtual classroom. The second one is global content partnership. Literally Digital Library will expand in collaboration with international institutions to provide access to a broader range of multilingual and multicultural resources. And the last one is community-driven content curation. This will allow users to contribute content, create resources playlists, and participate in curatorial decisions to build a more user-centric library. For alignment with Digital Library standard, the first one is metadata standard. Literally Digital Library will adopt widely recognized metadata standards such as the Darwin Core Metadata Element Set and Metadata Object Description Schema. The standard ensure that resources are properly catalogued, making them easily searchable and interoperable across platforms. For the second one, Open Access and Interoperability Standard, the library will use the AOI PMH protocol to allow other user systems to access its metadata, making its resources easier to find in global repository and search engine. It will also use the Open URL framework to make links and other resources more accessible, connecting citation to full-text resources in the library or other system. The third one is File Format and Preservation Standard. To ensure uniformity in digital content, the library will use open standards such as PDF for document preservation, JPEG for image compression, and MP4 for video content. The third one, accessibility standard. The digital library will conform to Web Content Accessibility Guideline 2.1 to ensure inclusivity. Next, community and best practice. Literally Digital Library will collaborate with professional groups, including the Digital Library Federation (DLF) and the International Federation of Library Association and Institution (IFLA) to get insight on emerging standards and best practices. And the last one is security and privacy standard. To protect user data and content, the library will adhere to the ISO/IEC standard for information security management. Measures such as encryption, secure authentication, and regular audit will be enforced to safeguard against unauthorized access and data breach.